Zsámboki Biokert has been here in Zsámbok since 2011. The founder of the farm, Matthew Hayes, purchased the plot here and started converting the existing land into an organic farm about 6 or 7 years ago. I think the question that, as someone who is a team member on an organic garden or an organic grower is usually asked the most often is, you know, how can you upscale these farms, and can organic farms feed the world? And what I would say to that question is yes, organic gardening, organic farming can certainly feed the world, because the issue of hunger in across the globe at the current moment is not a question of production, but it's a question of access within the food distribution systems that dominate the world. We don't distribute food resources and calories of food produced evenly or fairly in the world. We use huge pieces of land, we use many chemicals to produce feed for animals, we use a lot of land, we use a lot of water resources, we cut down a lot of forest to produce feed for animals. There's a lot of unfairness in the global food system. We can produce enough food organically, which would be much better for nature, which would have a huge impact on increasing and preserving biodiversity, and which would increase access locally to food in food scarce areas and reduce a lot of the chemical loading into natural ecosystems. So there is a lot that we can do to improve, to basically slow down the negative impact of agriculture on the biosphere, and also increase access to locally produced healthy food across the world, and still even accomplish something bigger like feed the world through this. It's not an overnight process. It's not something that we can't replace conventional farming with organic agriculture overnight, but we can slowly build up resilient, localized communal agricultural systems, but we need a lot of support to do this. The amount of organic farming that exists across the world is quite remarkable, because it has been established pretty much through the efforts of simple civilians and pioneer farmers who really wanted to try to do something beneficial and different. Policy has as much as it can, tried to encourage the spread of organic farming with the resources that it has, but we haven't really actively committed to changing agricultural systems, to encouraging less chemically based agricultural systems yet in an aggressive way. There is a lot of work that has to be done. So the national support policies, especially those in Europe and in the United States, they need to develop ways to better understand the plight of small to medium-sized farmers and even bigger organic farmers, and they need to really aggressively put resources into teaching people the differences between conventional farming and organic agriculture. And this is quite a risky step for them, because it puts them in opposition with a lot of powerful corporate entities who run the food system, who own who are in control of what is produced, how it's marketed, how it's processed, and how it is sold and gets to people. So then in that case, I mean, we really need people to ask the questions which should be important to them as well. I mean, I think each person should start with the question of what exactly am I putting into my own body each day? And especially for those people with families, you should certainly be concerned about this, the question of what am I cooking for my family each day? And I think when you start going down that road and asking questions, you realize you can learn a lot more about what exactly you're eating if you're buying it from the person who produced it. You can ask them about the production style. You can ask them if they're using any chemicals, any dangerous chemicals to produce these foods. And so the most basic advice I would give to someone who wanted to start learning more about food systems or the origins of their food is to buy something from the person who produced it. Of course, I would encourage them to try to find organic food in their neighborhood, but at least if you're buying something if you start with buying from a producer, you could at least find out more about the background of your food and what went into making it. And then from there you can go on to deeper questions about how to access organic food, the differences between organic and conventional food, how you can support organic farmers, how you can support organic food systems. The reality is that in most cities in Europe and across the United States, access to locally produced organic food is not necessarily as far away as you think it might be. Even in almost every district in Budapest, you don't really have to travel so far to find a box distribution point, a local food cooperative, or even a market where organic producers who are producing from a close distance from Budapest are likely active and working very hard to find new customers who might be looking for their high quality food products. And so it's it's up to people as well to seek these things out and support these producers who are working hard to produce high quality food and also protecting the local environment as well. Some of the main mission, or a few main mission points here of Zsámboki Biokert, is that we want to establish a farm where a group of people work together and manage the land in a way which maintains the natural balance of the land, maintains the nutrients of the soil, while also being able to rely mostly on farming at a human scale. So we want to keep working with a group of people who is not such a big group of people, who want to rely mostly on human labor and not necessarily on the labor of machines or anything like that. And we want to keep operating at a scale in which a tight-knit group of people can manage. We certainly hope to farm in a way which enhances the natural biodiversity of the land. So our biggest natural asset here on the farm is the health and high nutrient content of the soil. So the whole point of our organic farming is to productively and intensively farm in a way in which you can grow enough crops to sell in a market garden style garden, but also in a way which keeps a high balance of nutrients in the soil. So we'll work very carefully to maintain the integrity of a crop rotation, which is designed to produce a lot of vegetables, a lot of high quality vegetables, which we can sell to customers, but also doing it in a way which maintains the health and quality of our biggest resource, which is the healthy soil that we have here in Zsámbok. Beyond the organic and biodynamic influenced production style, which we follow here in the garden, another main goal of the farm is also to be an educational resource. The garden itself serves as a living classroom for consumers, for novice growers, for seasoned growers as well, and especially for students of different ages. Throughout the year, almost once every 2 weeks, we have a group, diverse types of groups coming here, Hungarians and international students and guests alike, who some want to just spend a day on a farm and see where the food comes from. Some other people actually want to learn professional organic gardening techniques. For example, some of the winter growing techniques we're using under our polytunnel or natural plant protection methods. Sometimes we're helping students follow through with their practical requirements related to their study degree, and sometimes we're helping backyard gardeners who want to learn a few tips to bring their balcony garden or backyard garden to life. And we're very, very happy to host all different types of groups, because as an organic farmer, there's a lot of responsibilities related to taking care of all the work that is required in the garden. But as much as we have to focus on being garden managers, we also have to be our own best spokesmen or spokespeople as well, because we're fighting in a very, very competitive market, which is the food retail market, and there's not necessarily a lot of people speaking on behalf of us, or a lot of powerful entities speaking on behalf of the smaller scale organic growers. So we have to be our own best marketing agents as well. And one of the best ways to convince people to make calculated food choices, or do a little bit of extra work, or do a little bit something more than just kind of simply going to the supermarket for their food, is to convince them that they're getting a higher quality product which has social and environmental benefit. And while we can't necessarily bring the farm to the people in the city, we can invite them to come to us, and usually if they spend some time in our garden, they see how much care goes into the work, and they really appreciate the products that come out of the garden as well. We work really hard to maintain a high level of transparency in the system and to communicate a lot. One of the ways in which we do this is usually by having someone physically present in a marketing location who works on the farm, who could answer questions about what's happening on the farm each week. Another way we try to do this is through our weekly newsletter and on our website, where every week we're posting pictures of what happened on the farm. We're writing a small passage about the exciting activities, the good things and the bad things that happen on the farm throughout the week. And this type of communication is very, very important for us. It's also important to always remain open to feedback as well. So any of our customers, whether they buy a box from us each week or buy something from us at the market, they always know that they can send us an email or come meet us directly in person and say, hey, I really like this, or hey, I cooked this with this ingredient that I never knew before and it turned out great, or hey, I bought something and I wasn't so thrilled with it. They can come and meet us personally. You don't necessarily have this possibility when you buy something from a supermarket or from a brand. You don't meet the person who produced it. So we think one of the benefits of of buying vegetables in this type of system, or buying a weekly vegetable box from us, is the ability to provide direct feedback to the person who probably harvested the item that you're eating or cooking with from the ground and delivered it to you. The community aspect is really important for us because we don't want what happens in the countryside, in the garden, to be completely separate to where the food is eventually consumed. So we work hard to take part in events which happen in the city, discussions, speeches, movie screenings related to agriculture or organic growing, workshops teaching people how to start their own seeds, how to germinate their own seeds. It's a priority of us to not only pass on information about what the differences are between organic growing and conventional growing, and the important nature and biodiversity aspects of organic growing, but also to pass on the skills to up-and-coming growers, to hobby growers, and especially to children as well. And by maintaining and working really hard to maintain this transparency and openness, we really develop close relationships with the people who buy our products from us. In the markets, it's likely that we know quite a lot about our customers. We know the names of their children. They interact with us week to week throughout the year, so it really is a personal relationship. And of course, we work really hard also to invite people out to the farm as well, because as I mentioned, it's just one of the best ways to pass on to them, to the customers who we really value for supporting us financially by buying our products, to kind of open the doors to them so they hopefully have a better idea just the amount of concern and care and skill that goes into producing the high quality food which they're hopefully enjoying with their families at home. Here at the Zsámboki Biokert, we do sell our vegetables in markets, but you also have the opportunity to participate in our weekly vegetable box system. The vegetable box system is designed to be all year round, seasonally and locally produced vegetable offering. It's a bit different than a traditional community-supported agriculture marketing system because you're not required to pay up front for the box. You can decide each week whether you want to purchase a large box or a small box or vegetables from an extra vegetable list. And the way it works is each week we put out a box offer, which is our newsletter, which has some information about what happened on the farm each week, and also a listing of the vegetables that would be in either the large or the small box, and the extra vegetable list as well. And you could decide whether you want to purchase a large box or a small box. And if you live in Budapest, we currently have 6 different delivery locations in different districts in the city. And if you live in one of the inner districts, you can also choose to have your box delivered to you with a cargo bike through our partnership with Cargonomia. From our perspective, the box system is very helpful because it supports our diverse crop rotation. So throughout the year, we may be planting and growing close to 100 different varieties of vegetables throughout the season. We put in the box each week what is the produce which is the freshest and the best quality. But of course, we want our garden to be quite diverse, and it's very helpful for our crop rotation to be very, very diverse. So in the box each week, you won't necessarily be getting paprika, parmesan, and paradiccium, because at some point in the season, of course, you get these very popular vegetables. But at other parts in the season, you'll be getting some more unique root vegetables, which you may not necessarily know, or maybe you haven't even eaten before, which from our perspective within our crop rotation are very, very important. But they also give you the opportunity to try new things and to learn about eating seasonally. So we only put in the boxes what is available from our farm throughout the year. So it's very supportive for us in helping us maintain diverse crop rotation, but also we think of it as a very useful way for people to learn how to eat seasonally based on just what exactly is available and the freshest and most seasonal things that can be grown in their area. And from a preparation perspective, it's very, very helpful for us, especially as quite a small team who's doing all of the steps in the process ourselves. So from the harvesting to the washing to the preparation to the delivering to the actual marketing and selling of the product as well. It's much, much easier to prepare 70 or even 80 of the same thing than 20 of a different order. So the reason why the box is quite efficient is because we decide beforehand what will be in the box. A customer decides if they want the box, and then we prepare and put together 50 or 60 of the order of the same thing, which we already know, which is a very, very efficient process. If we received 80 different, completely unique orders, it would take us 3 times or 4 times as much time as it would to be prepare a much higher number of the same order. So we see this as an extension of the cooperation between us, who are putting lots of care into growing high quality food in an environmentally conscious way, and the customer, who maybe, at certain times of the year might have to, they might not necessarily be the happiest to get the box full of, hearty greens and root vegetables, but they help us by participating in the box system, eating seasonally, and understanding that, just what is the reality of the situation for someone who's interested in eating seasonally and locally. This isn't to say that throughout the year we work really hard to keep the boxes exciting as well. In the times of the year where we don't necessarily have the most fresh produce, we usually put into the boxes our processed products which we prepared in the summer from the best of the summer produce. So we're putting in tomato sauces, eggplant creams, salsa, lecho, pasta sauces, and so you get a little taste of summer as well, sometimes in the darkest parts of winter. So we work really hard to maintain an exciting box offering all throughout the year and to provide fresh seasonal vegetables throughout the year. So the box system for us is an important way to introduce seasonal eating to our customers, but to also provide them a lot of information as well, because each week they're getting an information update, a photo update from the farm, and of course to form the sense of community through the box pickup locations as well, because usually the places where people pick up their boxes, they meet another person who is also buying a box, they talk together, they're probably neighbors, they're probably friends, they meet one of us or they meet one of our volunteers who work at the box pickup location. So it's also an extension of the community which we want to create around our operation.